Yeah, I'll be speaking this afternoon. There's a lot of people on this planet who are experiencing intense energies, overwhelm, and it's because they are not familiar with this human place. There's a lot of people incarnating on this planet at this time with diversity in the lineage of their soul that comes from more cosmic type energies. So we're going to talk about those people and how we can help them. We're also going to talk about empaths, those people that pick up the energy from others and carry it with them. We're going to share with them some tools and techniques how not to do so.
Keep your mind open, no judgment, criticism, and put your hands together and welcome Peter Smith. We're empowering empaths and connecting star seeds with home. Welcome.
Thank you for being here. Some of you have come a long way. Some of you have come a very long way. Some of you are from elsewhere, as well as here. Some of you are from many different places. We've reached a point in the evolution of human consciousness where there is absolute change. There are people who are turning up here in these human bodies that have experiences from other places. And this is exactly what humanity needs just now. We need to change the mix of the collective consciousness. We're going to talk more about that as we go through. The two pieces that I want to focus on today, and I spoke yesterday generally about the work we do at the Institute for Quantum Consciousness, but the things that I want to focus specifically on today are empath types and starseed types, and we all have some of this within us. So this is not about separation. This is just about the degrees to which we experience these things. So the Institute for Quantum Consciousness was founded about 12 years ago. We founded it so that we could look for the overlap between quantum physics and spirituality. Now, quantum physics is the science of possibility. Consciousness is the fabric of reality. When you put the fabric of reality together with the science of possibility, that's where we get quantum consciousness. We research limitlessness without boundaries. We look for the things that draw us together, not pull us apart, because humanity, whether you like it or not, is heading for oneness. We are one people, one universe, and we're one journey. So, a little bit of background. There's some key observations that I'm going to share with you, and I want to tell you where I'm making these observations from. The first is from the work that we're doing at Michael Newton Institute. I've been associated with that group for something like 20 years. You may have heard of Michael Newton's books, Journey of Souls, Destiny of Souls. For the last 20 years, I've been involved in that work. I was president of that organisation for 10 years in the USA, until such time it got too big and too busy and we split that into 4 different roles. I'm still on the advisory council there today, driving a wave of change that's responding to some of the trends that I'm going to share with you. So we have our own research department. We've published research papers. A book last year was issued by M&I Publishing. We have our own publishing wing. So I'm drawing on some of the experiences of our 200 practitioners around the world in 40 different countries and 20 languages as I make these assumptions and share them with you. This is real work that's coming straight out of our clinics. The second one is our own Institute for Quantum Consciousness. More specifically, the work with starseeds and the work with empaths and highly sensitive people. Okay, so those are the 2 groups specifically I'm going to address. But some of these general high-level observations, before I work into those 2 groups, we are seeing an influx of traveller souls. Now, my definition of a traveller soul is somebody who has diversity in the lineage of their soul, if you want to take a linear view of time momentarily, rather than what Barry said before about everything happening at once, which I'm a big fan of, but it's hard to understand. But across the lineage of our soul, there are many people here on our planet who have incarnated in other places, other dimensions, other planets. Most of us have had some of those experiences. When you go back to spirit at the end of each lifetime, you're in another dimension. So we are all naturally interdimensional. And the bottom line here is that none of us are from here. We all came here from somewhere else. Okay, so even if you just say we came from spirit, that's where we're truly from. That's our real home. Okay, so none of us are really from here. So off-world is really our world. It's our universe and where we come from. Some of us carry a little bit more of a cosmic or empathic flavour. So traveller souls, they're choosing to be here, and I've heard this from countless clients over the last 25 years. We've come here to be part of the change. We are the change in action. We've come here to make a difference. This looks interesting because of the evolution of consciousness that you're working with at the moment. I want to be part of that. This is all people speaking to us from their expanded states. So the traveller souls are really part of this transition for humanity. We're also seeing a wave of sensitive souls. Now, the sensitive souls are resensitising humanity. We've become desensitised. Have you watched a movie lately? You know, I watched a movie recently and the body count was about 50 people by the 45 minutes in, and I turned it off. We're desensitised through gory games, through Hollywood, through all of these things. So many people are being desensitised by all of these new shows that are violent and they are difficult and they are heavy in their energy. People who come here who are more sensitive are the ones that are rebalancing that. The people that turn those television sets off and turn the movies off and get rid of the games, they're the people who are the sensitive ones. Okay. And we're discovering a lightworker movement. There are more people who carry different types of energies around helping and healing souls. They have teacher characteristics. There's a whole stack of us all out here and in the audience here, no doubt. There are a lot of people who are incarnating here to change things around and to start to do healing work. But these three groups overlap, okay? And there's a cosmic and galactic flavour that's emerging. More and more people are channeling off-world beings. I'm going to give you some books at the end of this that might help you on the journey towards that. But more and more we're covering a cosmic and galactic flavour in our interactions with people. Cosmic disclosure is close. Governments will be admitting in the next few years that we have had contact with off-world civilisations and that some of them are actually here on Earth now working with humanity. All of this is going to come out in the years ahead. It's going to freak lots of people out, and the state of readiness for humanity to receive that message is really important. But there's a book written by a guy from the Pentagon recently called Imminent. That was the name of his book when he talks about cosmic disclosure, and I think that's a great definition of where things are at. Okay, so that's my general the general findings that we've had. But I want to dive into the empaths and highly sensitive people first of all. What are the characteristics of these people? And some of this may resonate. And if it does, that's wonderful, because that's going to help you to understand more about who you are, but more importantly, how this life could be a little bit easier here for you. So the characteristics of the empaths and the highly sensitive people. They pick up the energy of people, situations and landscapes really easily. The analogy I use is like gum on your shoe. An empath walks down the street, they get to the end of the street, it's all sticky on the bottom of their feet. What's this stuff on my feet? It's not mine. Where did I pick this up from? I don't chew gum. That's what the energy's like. These people, they go home and they feel weird and they feel strange, and it's because they've been mixing in environments where they've simply picked up energy. And it's a natural thing for them to pick that energy up. Okay, they can tune into others. It's not really about words being spoken. It's more about picking up the thinking and the feeling beyond the words. You know, a typical example might be, you know, my friend was depressed. I went to the coffee shop. They went away feeling better. I went away depressed. Typical empath behaviour. That's how it works. Yeah, lots of nods. Yeah, I get that. Okay. Social situations, they're difficult. I remember I'm a highly sensitive person as well. I remember going to a concentration camp in Austria years ago in my travels. I came away feeling terrible. This is 40 years ago. I came away feeling terrible. I don't know why. Wow, that's such a sad place. I've carried that with me. It's because I'd picked up the energy. Big crowds, like the football. You know, you go into, here's a great big gathering of people, but I don't want to go. And you have some of these things that have you either, step back from it or not want to be part of those energies because you withdraw. Okay, it's inbuilt safety mechanisms. It's your intuition. It might be saying, I can't really do this. Or you're at a gathering, I'm just going to go outside for a minute and get some fresh air. Okay? That can be ways in which you can cope with the energy. And it can, in fact, lead to depression. If you're collecting feelings from a whole lot of other people and you're swapping your energy for theirs, there's every chance it may build up within you as an empath type person, and you carry it with you from that moment on. So one trend we've seen in this work is that empaths may start collecting energy before they're even born. There's a whole field of work around what happens in utero, in the womb, pre-birth. You're so connected to mum, psychically, biologically, and you pick up mum's experiences. Okay, if mum and dad are having trouble, that can be picked up by the unborn child. You know, there's that thing where they play beautiful, relaxing classical music to babies before they're born, and they might grow up with a love of classical music because it's something that has such a beautiful, familiar ring to them. But there's every chance as well that that's the pre-birth conditioning. It doesn't just happen through auditory senses, it happens through energy as well. So we're seeing that empaths might actually be picking that up from mum before they're born. Another interesting trend we're seeing is that people who are empathic souls carry some of these characteristics, deliberately incarnate into a family line to break patterns. And that's how they learn about their sensitivities. I'm going to incarnate into that family line. I've heard it 100 times. I'm going to incarnate into that family line because it needs to stop. It's been going on for too long. I bring a different and a fresh energy to that family line, and then everything starts to clear. We can work with that. We help those people. These people have usually been failed by the medical psychological systems because they don't understand what's happening for them. We have a very 3D medical model, and I'm not going to go into the detail of that today, but it has absolute limitations when it comes to the energetic landscape of people. We are energetic beings. We come from the light, we return to the light, we're 70% water. Water has its own consciousness. The physical model doesn't always work for us. If you break a leg, get it reset. But if you're carrying bad energy, no doctor's going to be able to help you. You need somebody who has the energetic understanding so that they can help you. The big one for me is the kids. Empath kids. Particularly if you have parents that don't understand them. And these kids, they go to school, and if their little best friend's parents are going through divorce and that little kid comes to school sad, they pick it up. I'm working a lot with children, and a lot of our people are working with children, and we've got to help them to release that energy. I get them to draw the energy. How do you draw the energy? What colour would it be? And what colour is your happy energy? And we work with them. I do a lot of work over Zoom. We get them to release the energy that's there through visualisation. Kids are so easy to work with. And we put the happy energy in, and they walk away a different child. It's easily done. So there's remedies that are recommended. A lot of people might carry a crystal in their pocket. That can work well. Salt baths. Some people say, I feel better after a salt bath, or I wash the day off in the shower, whatever it may be. Nature's good for all of us. We don't spend enough time in nature. We live in cities mainly. And then there's the old legend of the empath and the narcissist. Okay, narcissists grab energy, empaths love to give energy. There's usually a swap there, and there's an interesting dynamic between those two types of personalities. That too can be resolved. But for us, understanding that whole landscape, what we love to do is we love to see how it can be authentic and powerful like none of it ever happened. Rather than do the remedies down the track, we do something about preventive maintenance before it happens. Let me talk to that for a moment. The approach that we've been doing for the last 5 years has cleared the energy path of many of these people. There's a number of our practitioners here in the audience as well that do this work. The first thing we need to do is diagnose and educate those sensitive people, helping them understand that they have a superpower. If you're sensitive to energies, it's not a curse, it's a blessing. It's a superpower. It means you can read things that other people miss. It's a beautiful thing. But like anything, you've got to make sure that you use that tool in the best possible way. Everything has a flip side. We flip it around to make it a positive. But first and foremost, people who are empathic need to understand that it's a superpower. It's something beautiful that differentiates them, and by using it, they help humanity. But I will say this. People who are sensitive to the energy around them, hypervigilance, if you're familiar with that term, means you're on alert and you're looking around and you're waiting for the next hit, whatever it might be energetically. It could be trauma, because people who are traumatised are also hypervigilance. PTSD is a great example of that. People are on edge, and it might not just be energetically done. So we have to very carefully have a conversation that helps us to understand the two, and then there can be overlap as well, because empaths can be hypervigilant and may have been traumatised. So it's a very powerful conversation right at the start that allows us to understand what's really happening for them. Okay. How do we do it? Well, we live in a quantum realm. Time is an illusion. As Barry said before, everything is happening at once. We move outside of time and space, and we observe from those expanded states when you're still you and more. We do our best to understand that womb experience. What is happening for you? Okay, we ask about that. What's your experience as you're waiting to be born? Oh, I'm feeling a bit anxious. Why would a baby in the womb feel anxious in such a beautiful place that is a place of safety and warmth? It's because they're pulling the energy in. And it could be mums, it could be from further afield. So that helps us to diagnose and understand what's happening for that person. So we work with that unborn child to build a new infrastructure that enables them to move through the world with different protocols. So we actually go back to before it all began, and we install something that's an energetic infrastructure that makes sure anything happens after that is experienced differently from what it was before. Once installed, there can even be a ripple effect, because we store memories. I'm standing here and I'm 61. I may have a very long timeline of various difficult circumstances in my life. If I go right back to where it all began, right back to the start, and I build a new infrastructure, I overlay that infrastructure across my 61 years, I carry my history and not my trauma. That's what this is about. If people even people who have been traumatised can be helped through this method. And we return to a life that is forever changed. Because that infrastructure is unconscious, because we've built it into the energetic field of the person themselves, into their part of the quantum field. So what is that infrastructure? First thing we install, and it sounds easy, we try to do this all the time, we try to observe and not absorb, but when somebody's in their expanded state, offering something to the unborn version of themselves, expressing their multidimensional self, because they are that baby, they are the client, and they are that expanded self, when we put the observe and don't absorb in, then we ask them to test it. What's it feel like? What changes? And they describe that to us. Then we go to the second one. Know what is yours and what is someone else's. You install that, so they can see a clear delineation between the energy that is theirs and the energy that is not. And the third one is to give them the power of energetic discernment, so that they can choose. This is absolute free will when it comes to the energetic pieces. You can see how these three come together. Observing and not absorbing, then they know if it's theirs or if it's not, and then they choose. Do I want to engage with that energy or not? That's free will. So that's how we're bringing change to those people. Let's talk about the traveller souls. Some of the background characteristics. These are people who may be drawn to the metaphysical, science fiction, astrological sciences. Some of these people say to me, I go outside and I look up at the stars and I feel homesick. Okay? That can be a really big determiner on whether somebody carries some cosmic frequencies in their being. They can't understand. I was born in Sydney, I live in Sydney, I feel homesick. Why is that? It's because it's coming from a deeper place. They might feel lonely, they might find it difficult to find their own tribe, might have trouble connecting with people. There are reasons for that. It's because they're not used to these hard 3D bodies and the difficult energies of this crazy world. And they make comments that dissociate them from the greater humanity. I don't understand people. I don't understand how they can do this sort of stuff. They're not speaking as a person, they're speaking as something beyond. Okay. And again, they may withdraw. They may shut down, they may go into overwhelm. It may be difficult for them. They feel no one truly understands them because no one understands the frequencies that they're putting out. Again, the medical and the psychological systems don't support that because they don't understand this as a phenomenon, and it is getting bigger. And there are reasons for that as well, which I'll cover in a moment. But I want to say that these people, they are the boots on the ground for benevolent civilizations that are here to support humanity. There are other civilizations out there in the universe that are watching us and want to support us. Now some of those civilizations with people with souls who've got experience in those places are coming into human bodies, so they bring the frequencies of these other civilizations here in order to help. So they are the boots on the ground for some of these other civilizations, benevolent ones that support humanity. And I want to say, if this is something that resonates for you, thank you for being here. If you're one of these beings that is incredibly sensitive, you're one of these beings that carries the cosmic frequencies, you've come here to be part of the shift and part of the change. And it's a courageous act just to incarnate on this planet for all of us. But for those people that carry those frequencies, even more so. Okay. Some stories I'd like to share because I'd like to bring this to life for you with a couple of different people, then talk to you about how we're helping souls such as these. I had a guy that came to see me, his name was Gavin. He was sent by his auntie, who I knew, who was one of our practitioners. Can you help Gavin? What's Gavin's problem? Well, Gavin feels he's walking under a beam of light at times. Okay, yeah, sure. Doesn't sound nuts to me. So Gavin comes, and Gavin's a great guy. Gavin drives a cold truck for Coles. He does the home deliveries of the groceries. And he comes in, he sits down, he's this big burly fellow, about 30 years of age, and he sits in the chair. This is back when I was doing face-to-face work some years ago. And he said, I got this weird thing going on, tell me about it. He says, I sort of feel like I'm walking in a beam of light sometimes. So we put him in an expanded state. We researched that beam of light. Because what Gavin was doing is he would go into people's houses, and he gave me an example. He took some groceries and he could feel the mother and the father fighting through the door. Could feel it and hear it. The kids were traumatised. He went into the house and he felt the beam of light. He went into the house, he put the groceries on the bench. It was in an apartment block. And he walked out and he went down the hall and no one was fighting anymore. It's like he delivered more than groceries. And we found out that was his role. His role was to be the receiver for cosmic frequencies from another group of people that were actually sending him energy because he was walking in and out of other people's houses. That was his role. And he was part of that group. Because the interesting thing we found was when we followed the beam of light home, we found he was at the other end as well, sending it to his human self. So he was spreading the light, literally, as he moved through those places. This was an interesting one. This was a fellow who came to me. He'd done shamanic work. He was in the arts community. He tried to go to sleep every night and he had this buzzing out of the top of his head. His crown chakra would go off. He said, "Why does my head buzz when I try to go to sleep?" So again, we took him into a beautiful expanded state. We went through his head and followed this beam, wherever it was coming from, this vibration that was going out on the top of his head. We found out it was an upload. You know how people get downloads? He had an upload. So we explored this upload. What was happening for him was he was part of a group consciousness. And it was his shamanic work that was happening. This was prior to 2012 when there was a shift in consciousness on this planet. His role was to experience everything in human form, including the shamanic frequencies he was working with that came from the earth. And as he gathered information, every night he'd upload to the rest of his group. And they were using those frequencies and they were taking them to other planets so that they could transfer the knowledge that we had here in our shamanic frequencies to other planets. Once he understood that's what it was, he didn't worry about it anymore. He just went to sleep and he says, well, that's my role. I'll accept it. So that's what he did. And this last one's a favourite. A lady came to me, she was an artist, and she said, I'm not sure if I'm blocked, I'm not sure what's happening, but my arm just moves and doesn't feel like mine. It just goes numb and it just paints. Okay, let's understand. Her arm was connected to somewhere. Again, expanded her out, found the connection. We found that there was another multi-dimensional version of her who was a male being on another planet who painted with light and frequencies on a ball of light and just brought different colour and frequencies in there. He was sending her the frequencies so she could paint them in this dimension to raise our vibration. This sort of stuff's another day at the office for us. It's really cool. We love it. So, again, we say, what if these traveller souls could have access to home and become a bridge between worlds? So this is how we've been helping them. First of all, we have to diagnose and educate the cosmic people, helping them understand they have something to offer the world. A question I love to ask, I said, I need your immediate response to this, please. Are you from here or elsewhere? Oh, I'm from elsewhere. Oh, tell me more. And they start a whole conversation. Well, I don't feel at home here. And it starts the conversation where they start to understand who they are more. They no longer feel different and they start to feel understood because they know that they're here to do something quite different. There's an analogy I use that's about cosmic cake ingredients. Humanity is like a cake with all of these 8 billion different ingredients. The only way that you can change the flavour of the cake is to change the ingredients. That's why these new souls are incarnating here. There's a lot of stuff happening in small children that are coming through. They're starting to remember things before this lifetime. And we're seeing a trend in that these children are connected in ways that they haven't been before. And we've finally reached a place in awareness where they're not shut down when they start to talk about some of this other strange stuff. Okay. The reason they feel homesick is their ticket home. If you feel homesick, then you must have the resonance of home within you. So if the resonance of home is within you, we can use that to find your way home. So we take that vibrational frequency and it's back to their place of origin that they're missing, and we create a portal to take them home. We step through that portal. Reunite them with whatever's on the other side. It might be a group consciousness, it might be another planet, it might simply be a home planet that's not the same as here. I recently had a client, she went there and she was by herself, but she could fly. She was in a type of body that flew. So we helped her to fly. And she felt the experience of flying from there, here in her human form, and it lifted her to a new place, literally. So now she flies here, in her own mind. Whenever she meditates, she releases from her body and she flies, and it raises a vibration. But most importantly, once you've experienced that, it becomes part of your conscious understanding of who you are, and you are a bridge between worlds. And it gives you access to resources from the other side from where you're from. Again, we return to a life that is forever changed. Okay. Recommended reading. If you want to know more about these subjects, there's a couple of books that I'd like to tell you about. You've probably heard of Anita Moorjani, Dying to Be Me, Hay House. Very, very well sold book and well recognised, etc. This is the one she wanted to write. The reason that she had that cancer and had to release it was because she was an empath. So she wrote this book, and Hay House didn't publish it. She did it privately because it wasn't as marketable as the other book, but this is the one that she really wanted to. Sensitive is the new strong. Isn't that beautiful? What a name for a book. What empath wouldn't want to buy that book? There's two other people I'd like to tell you about. One of them is Howard Beatty. I know Howard personally, and I've known him for 20 years. He's a remarkable man. His book, The E.T. Speak, he's organised a spiritual group that connect with off-world civilizations and ask them about how they support humanity. He's spoken to the Galactic Federation, the Pleiadians, the Antarians, the Greys, all of them, all of the main ones that we hear about. And he's published in that book. He's recently done another one that covers a lot of that work again, plus some of the angelic realms. It was released just last month, I think. It's called The Elephant in the Room. That's hot off the press, that one. I had the great honour to write the foreword for that for Howard. So he's starting to contact these other groups and to find out more about cosmic disclosure, when's it going to happen, and his work at his healing centre in Washington State in America is just fantastic. Howard's now about 83. And I'm going to talk about Mary Rodwell in a moment. Mary, Howard and I all presented at UFO MegaCon in Nevada back in 2019 and shared space with each other, swapped ideas and understandings between the quantum and the cosmic stuff, and it's helped all of us to move forward. So I recommend that book by Howard. And this one by Mary Rodwell. For my mind, Mary Rodwell is an absolute legend. She's helping families with starseed children to understand more about what makes these kids tick and how we can support them. She started some of the UFO contact type organisations. She's an Australian, she's a Queenslander, she's one of our people. And she travels the world talking about this stuff. She does fantastic work. She got associated with a couple of groups in America. And what she's done is she's on the board of various contact organisations there. And there's a new research organisation called, you can see it at a website called agreaterreality.com, where they've done incredible research. Her and a guy by the name of Ray Hernandez, that's R-E-Y, Hernandez. Ray's an old lawyer that's now driving the contact modalities. They're looking at a lot of the aerial phenomenon to do with UFOs and beyond into other modalities. There's a lot of research happening about that. So have a look at Mary Rodwell's website as well, because you'll see some connections there. Okay, going to take questions in a minute. If there's more information that you want. This is our details. Institute for Quantum Consciousness, a number of our people are here. On that website, you'll actually see a research paper that I did some years ago about where people go in the interdimensional realm when they go to bodies that are off-world, where they go and who they contact. So there's a research paper there. The Transcendence Adventure, that 9-stage journey program, is a series of videos that go through 9 different levels. It's based on consciousness artwork shot in a rainforest. All the 9 meditations are around 10 to 12 minutes. It's designed as a mental health program, was put out there free when we all went into lockdowns about 5 or 6 years ago, and it's helped so many people. But you don't have to use it as a mental health program. It's designed for you to connect in with that information and to be drawn to a particular piece of artwork or a particular meditation and to pursue it. We have a one-day public program, Living Quantum Consciousness, which is done online. There's 3 journeys that we do in there about remembering your light, water consciousness, where we've been installing vibrational frequencies of love, grace and gratitude into the water in people's bodies. And we've also been working with the multiverse in a quantum sense, with the different realities that we can step into as we mine the multiverse itself. 2028 is Conversation Materials for a New World, where you can take conversation materials and help to create a new world that's going to be here in 2028, and talk about how the billionaires in the world have given away half their wealth to restore the planet, how we've gone from science to meta-science, new healing technologies that embrace the best of alternate practices, etc. And if you're already a practitioner, we do a 5-day program to teach you how to take people on quantum consciousness journeys. For us as well, a TV series has just been launched that features our people. Journeys into the Soul has just gone into season 2. There's 20 episodes in a season. 8 have been featured by our people. 3 of those people that are in those episodes are in this room. And we have a documentary coming out at the end of the year. Almost finished the ad bit. That's my website. Those are my 2 books. At the start of the conference yesterday, they were out there for a price cheaper than you can get them on the internet. Now, for the last couple of hours of this conference, if you buy one, we'll give you the other one for free. So $25 for both books out on the speaker's stand. I can't get them in my bag to go back to Cairns where I live. So that's your benefit. And more about the Newton Institute, Michael Newton's work that I mentioned earlier as well. That's the most recent book from there. There's a great thing coming with Friends of MNI, where we're going to open a new sponsorship a new subscribership where you can come inside the organisation, look at some of the files that have never been published and connect with the people who lead that organisation. Stories of the Afterlife is our quarterly journal. So yeah, by all means, take a picture of that. I've got 4 minutes left for questions. Or you can hang around and talk to us. And Rosh is here as well. Rosh, can you stand up for a sec? Rosh is one of our teachers from Melbourne. He's come up to support us. So if you've got questions and I'm busy, please talk to Rosh as well. And a couple of our other people are there with Rosh too. So, questions? Who's got a mic? Oh, there's the mic.
Can you please tell me more about how you work with children that are sensitive? And my daughter.
Depends how old's your daughter?
She's 8.
She's 8. That's a wonderful age to work with. What's happening for her?
Oh, she's getting headaches, the whole buzzing thing. She's not sleeping. Okay. She's very sensitive.
Okay. I'd probably need to know more to recommend an approach, but come and have a chat to me after we're done.
Okay.
That man there.
Pete, why do souls seek to evolve?
Thanks, Bill. We've only got 4 minutes. My take, and I don't have all the answers. I'm still working on the questions, as we all are. But my take is that souls seek to evolve because all consciousness, by being conscious, seeks to improve, seeks to expand. I mean, we see the universe continues to expand. They've mapped that, astronomically. I believe that everything seeks to evolve. A seed grows to a tree, a puppy grows to a dog, a child grows to an adult. We continue to want to evolve, and I think we're driven by an internal mechanism that wants us to be better. So, just to start. Books. I wrote a book called Quantum Consciousness, Journey Through Other Realms, that explores the different realms of consciousness that people can move into when they move out of body. I wrote a novel called The Transcendence of Celeste Kelly, which is fiction about a quantum physicist who discovers consciousness and wants to change the world. So a lot of these books are coming out in this day and age, and I think that the more we can explore spiritual type books, the more it can activate something within us. What I love about Awaken is there's so many people that have these mindsets in one place. There's a whole auditorium full of people who've got the alternative view of life that offers so much to the people who come. I mean, I feel like I'm in a tribe here that's helping, like a family. We're helping other people to be able to remember more of who they are. And we're doing that from all different angles, but we all have a common purpose to help the rising consciousness.